Cool. For those of you guys who don't know who I am, the reason that I have the authority to come in and talk about real estate and ground up construction is because I've been doing it for 28 years and we've done a damn good job doing it. And I'll own that. There's a lot of things I'm not good at. Just ask my wife; she'll be the first one to tell you. But for everything else, you know, when it comes to construction, real estate, investing, we've done pretty damn good at it over the last 28 years. I never really considered myself a real estate professional, guys. I always just consider myself a business professional. I've been self-employed for 33 years, and I've been in a lot of different industries. We've owned everything from sit-down, high-end restaurants to we were the largest Subway franchisee in Southern Colorado and Central New Mexico for over a decade. We've owned gas schools, coffee shops, juice bars, we've owned beauty salons, we've owned all kinds of stuff over the years. And the one thing that's always produced the most consistent and the best profits has been our real estate and our ground up stuff. How many of you guys do fix and flips, guys? How many of you guys have ever done a fix and flip or doing fix and flip right now? Okay? I don't do fix and flip, guys, and I'm going to tell you guys that what we do in the ground up construction game is much simpler than doing fix and flips and substantially lower risk and way more profitable. That's how we do it. Because if there was more money in fix and flips, that's what I'd be doing. If there's less money in fix and flips, way too many variables, and they're a pain in the ass. It's like playing Russian roulette. There's some seats up here, sir. One here, one right here. It's like playing Russian roulette. And with fix and flips, guys, it's like having a 6-barrel chamber and just rolling it, and then sitting back with the bullet, just waiting for that next deal to explode on you. Okay? And that's why I do fix and flips. In 2008, when it was a housing crisis, Lehman Brothers collapsed. One of the things that I realized is that I would never ever do a fix and flip ever again. At that day and age, we were doing about 55 homes a year. 57 homes in 1 year was the most homes that we ever built as a company, and that I ever took out of the ground in one given year. And we did that for about 6 years, right? Between 50 and 57 homes. We had to turn dirt on the house every week. And if we did it, we were servicing payroll. So the only reason that we used fix and flip was to leverage that against our payroll, so that way, if for some reason we had some gap time, we were making up payroll with a fix and flip. And that's all they were worth to us. And when the 2008 recession hit, we made zero money on 100% of our fix and flips. I think we had like 8 of them going at the time, and we just took a scrub on all of them. And I think the worst one we lost maybe about $10,000, $15,000 on a couple of them. And those are literally the only projects that we've ever lost money on. And so I always tell people that the ground up game is controllable if you know what you're doing. Okay? So the reason you guys are here is because at the end of this, you guys are going to have an opportunity to get invited to come join me in Las Vegas. You'll never see a marketing ad on it. You'll never get invited again. This will be your only opportunity to come and spend 2.5 days with me in Las Vegas in February. And the reason why I do these is only for people that invest in themselves, come out of their way to see it. They're the only people that get invited. And I only have 350 tickets available, and they'll sell quick if we throw an ad. Like, look, we did this in 4 days, guys. You know, we'll put 140 people in a room in 4 days. If we market that on the internet, they'll sell, and they'll sell quick. And then I don't get the quality of people that I need in Vegas. It's an underwriting workshop, and the reason that I'm going to talk to you guys about underwriting real estate today is it's the only way to de-risk real estate, guys. If you know the variables before you walk into a piece of real estate, how can you lose? And so the reason I talk about underwriting real estate is because it's the only security you have as a professional to secure that you're going to make a profit. Does that make sense? And so I want to make sure that each and every single person understands that, because I operated like 90% of you guys that are in this room right now. In early years, I would just go out and I'd find a piece of real estate. And if it sounded like a good deal, and if I thought, okay, the rents make sense, I would just buy it, but I really didn't have like a method to really assess if I was really going to get the rent, if it really made sense, or if it was really high risk. And so I would literally have to steal a deal in order to feel like, okay, I'm going to make some money. But there was nothing methodical. There was no real business behind it. It was just me feeling like, shit, I'm buying a good property. It's going to rent, it's going to cash flow, and I'm going to make some money. And that was it. Okay, that was it. That was like my method behind it. And I got up to $20 million in net worth, in asset ownership, doing it that way. So it's not a bad way to do it. I just found a better way, because in 2008, I was not taking money. We were doing ground up construction, not just in single family, but we were also doing retail. And it was the retail development that kicked our ass. And it was the retail development that almost took us under. How many of you guys want to get into multifamily? Raise your hand. Okay? Passive income, guys. And that's what it's really about, right? Like you can build for the rest of it. I have a chair up here, guys. We got about 3 right down there. We got these 2 over here. We got some back here. Guys, come on up. I'm like your usher at church. I will pass the bucket around later. You guys can talk to her. So come on up if you guys want to fill in these chairs up here. Or you can stand back here. Now, one of the big things, guys, is understanding where opportunity comes from. In 2008, I knew that I had an opportunity to be able to come in and buy real estate because things got crushed in the real estate market. And I didn't really understand cap rates, I didn't understand values, I didn't understand any of that stuff. And so if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to leave with where I'm going to end today. Is that okay? Yeah? Is that okay? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, the more you participate, the more you're going to get out of it. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm here for you guys. I don't need to be here. I've already gotten wealthy, and I'll explain why I do this here in just a second. So the more you put into this, the more you're going to get out of it. Make sense? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Now, here's how it goes, guys. I'm going to start off helping you better understand commercial investment and where opportunity comes from and why commercial investments are so important. Then I'm going to go into the ground up game and residential construction. That cool? Yeah? Okay. Now, how many of you guys understand how to underwrite a cap rate on real estate? Raise your hand. Okay, these guys are in my community, and then maybe 2 other people that are not part of our community. Okay, so you have to know this, guys. It protects you like everything you are in real estate. You have to understand how cap rates work and how to evaluate them. Now, this formula is more important than anything that you'll ever do. The value of an asset The value of an asset is equal to the net operating income divided by its cap rate. Okay? This formula is more important than any formula you were ever given in school. Okay? Write that formula down. If there's nothing else that you learned here today other than this, you're going to walk away with gold. Because this will protect you. This will keep you from going broke if you know this. Because this is how banks work. How many of you guys want to get money on assets? Guys? How many of you guys want to get money to be able to build and do stuff? How many of you guys want to be able to do that? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Let me explain something to you guys before I even get started. Look, banks don't work against you. Banks work in alignment with you, provided you understand how banks work. Banks are positioned to make money from lending money. Does that make sense? Yeah. How many of you guys have an 800 credit score? Raise your hand. Okay. So banks don't give a shit about your 800 credit score. Okay? They don't. And let me explain why. That might be a small little component of what they're looking at. Small little component. What banks are looking for is they're looking for the value of an asset. What their money is leveraged against and how that asset holds its value against that asset long term. Because if something happens to you and the bank has to take that asset back, they want to make sure that that asset can stand on its own 2 feet. Does that make sense? Yep. So the biggest disadvantage that every single person in here has is that most people walk through 13,000 hours in an education system sculpted around teaching you guys how to be great employees. Not how to go out and become entrepreneurs. They don't teach you about banking. They don't teach you about lending. Then you go into the real world, and at your convenience, you buy a home, which is conforming lending. And the banks only have one way to leverage that home. And that's based off of you, and every single person in here individually. Because there's no cash production on that asset. Does that make sense? So because there's no cash production on that asset, you are the cash behind that single family home. Being that that single family home is not an investment, it's not an asset, it's a liability. Plain and simple. Any investment that doesn't produce cash is a liability. Make sense? Okay. Any asset that produces cash is an asset. Okay? And what banks are looking for is you're looking for assets that control cash flow. And so when we go in, I want you guys to understand where we are economically right now, because what we're going through right now, commercial lending, is way tougher and way worse than what we were going through in 2008. So if those of you guys are sitting back and there's no way, 2008 was catastrophic. Yeah, you're right. It didn't last this long though. 2008, by April of 2009, we were already buying again. By April of 2009, shit was cash flowing again. And it took us a little time to clean shit up because things got out of control. But It didn't take 3 years to fix lending like it has today. Does that make sense? We've been in this shit for 3 years, guys, 3 years. And commercial assets have been getting throttled for 3 years. Okay? And I'm going to explain how. Let's say that you guys go in and you buy, you guys have a 10-unit apartment complex. Okay? So you get 10 units. And let's say that based on average rents like $1,750 a month in rents, that asset's going to produce a couple $100,000 a year in revenue. Now, based on what CBRE tells us and the expenses of that asset, the property taxes, the insurance, to keep it maintained and balance out your books, you're going to land up with probably about $110,000, $115,000 in net operating income after you pay all expenses. Make sense? Okay, so if we spend about $85,000 in expenses, we're going to land up with $115,000 on your NOI. Okay? Now, when we go in and we divide that by our cap rate, the cap rate is the rate of return that your real estate brings you. So it's like buying stock. Let's say that you go out and you buy stock in Home Depot across the street. And Home Depot's returns on your investment, let's say you give them $100,000 in Home Depot stock. If that year you make a 7% return on your stocks, that's your cap rate in real estate. Whenever you pay cash for an asset, your return on your cash investment is your cap rate. Does that make sense? Okay, so the return on investment cannot be less than the amount that you're paying in interest for that asset. Does that make sense? So if you go out and you leverage a loan, how do you pay a 7% loan if your asset only makes 3% return on investment? Can you? No. And that's what's happening, guys, is that in the commercial market sector, there's $2.8 trillion worth of commercial real estate coming back to the open market right now. We're about 6 months to 8 months into it, and we have about a year and a half of absorption that we still have on defaulting assets based on non-performance in assets that were purchased between 2019 and today that are not producing enough return on investment to pay the debt because they financed them on what's called 5-1 arms. It was a 5-year fixed rate loan, and then it becomes an adjustable rate mortgage at year number 5. Now, some of the syndicators came in, they did loan modifications to be able to bridge the gap between what their cost was for debt, but it's still affecting them. And here's how, guys. So if we have $115,000 in revenue on our net operating income, and let's say that back in 2020, interest rates were at what percent, guys, in 2020? What were they? 2.1? Where at, guys? Come on, help me out here. 3%, 4%? They were about 3%, yeah? Okay, so if our cap rate has to be equal to our interest rate, our cap rate's got sub 3%, like this one said. There was shit selling, guys, for 2% cap rate. There was stuff selling for sub 2% cap rates. Crazy, crazy. And I noticed this back in 2016. I bought an apartment complex in Tucson, Arizona, guys. It was an 84-unit apartment complex. I paid $7.2 million for it. I had sold a conglomerate of real estate right off of the 202 between 40th and 44th Street, right by the Chinese Cultural Center, right in the heart of Central Phoenix. And when I sold that, I sold that portfolio for $4.2 million. And we ended up walking out of that with about $3.8 million cash in pocket, and I went and put it down on a $7.2 million, a $7.4 million asset in Tucson. I bought that thing at an 8% cap rate, and it was 84 units. 7 months later, I went down the street in Tucson, bought another building with 74 units in it, 10 units less, and I paid $1 million more for that property about 7 months later. Because cap rates went from 8% down to 7% in 9 months. Then, 6 months later, I went to Central Phoenix, almost right by where I sold my portfolio in Central Phoenix. And I went to go buy 120 units, and the cap rates went from 8% to 7% to 6% in less than an entire year. In less than a year and 3 months, they went down by 2%, and the asset value of that property went so far up. And I won't say exactly what I said, so I got kids in here. Sorry, I will use profanity. I apologize in advance. It's just I just kind of go like that sometimes. So you guys okay if I just am quiet? You guys okay with that? and I'll clean it up a little bit, guys. I'll be better than I normally am. But when I'm functioning at high intensity, I just freaking lose myself, and I'm just thrown. Is that cool? Yeah. It's all right. I'm not going to pretend to be anybody I'm not. I'm just going to be myself. I have no other reason than to be Jerome. The Jerome that Jerome always is, right? Okay? And so I'm just going to function the way I normally function. Everybody's also told me that I'm way up here and I'm a little bit extreme, but that's also a big contributor to my success. Cool? All right. Now, when we went in, I told Joe Deeds with the Orion Group, I told him, F this, I'm done. Like, I go, what kind of effing people? I was like, I lost it on you. And I said, this is bullshit. I ain't buying any of this stuff. Who's crazy enough to buy this stuff? Lo and behold, cap rates went down to 3%, values went way up. I could have been the crazy one, but I lined up going in and just building these things ground up. I took down a build down in Tacoma with a buddy of mine, and we went in, we built this asset. We bought it in a bowling alley for $680,000 cash. And then we tore it down, and we ended up going in and building 134 units in Tacoma. It cost us $16 million with the land, the interest, the debt service, the entire bill. And when we were done with that bill, 14 months later, that thing appraised at $32 million. We cashed out our investment. We still own it today, and we pulled $10 million out tax-free. That was our beta test in 2017 on multifamily, and since then, we've built about $500 million in assets since then. And some of them are right here in your backyard, most of them up in Phoenix. Sound good? You guys want to understand why? Here's why, guys. Now, 2020, 115 divided by 3%. What's the value of that asset in 2020? Take 115. Take your phones out, guys. Take your phones out. 3.8. You're only going to get this if you do it, guys. Pull your phones out and do it. 3.8. If you guys came down to learn something, pull your phones out. Okay? What was it? 3.8. $3.8 million. Okay. That's the value of the asset in 2020, selling at a 3% cap rate. This is where things got crazy. Now, today, what are interest rates, guys? 6.35? Yeah. That's about where they're at. It's about 6.25 is what they're under. So say 6.3%. Okay? That's what our debt coverage needs to be. 6.3% banks are looking for when they're underwriting this stuff. So the value of this asset at $115,000 and a 6.3% cap rate, what is the value of that asset today in 2025? What is it? $1.8 million. How? Same roof, same tenants, rents have even went up. How is that the value of that asset half of what it was just a few years ago, guys? Cost of debt, interest. Cost of debt. Cap rates, compression, guys, this is the reality of what the market is bearing right now. This is where we've been for in excess of 3 years, guys. How do you go in and refinance an asset that you paid $3.8 million for? How do you go out and refinance that when it's only worth $1.8 million today? How do you do that? Do you think it'd be important to know that before you bought that asset, before you built that asset, and before you took down an investment with that asset? Do you think that'd be pretty important to know? Okay? That's why you're here today. That's why we do ground up construction. Is because all our stuff cash flows, guys. And the reason you have to know that is because I don't want you guys going out there and buying this stuff when interest rates are so low, cap rates are high, cap rates are low, and values are astronomical. That's not the time to buy. Any brand dead idiot can buy an asset that continues to grow up. Doesn't make you a good investor to go in and buy an asset when everybody's making money and you're on an incline. Any idiot can make money if you buy here and sell here, buy here and sell here, buy here and sell here, buy here and sell here. Where the art of real estate comes into play is when the market tanks like it is right now and it's going down, and you buy here and you still make money as the market goes down anywhere you buy. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that's why we're here today. Because that's what you guys have to understand and know in order to stay affluent and stay cash flowing on all your assets. That's the only way you're going to get lending, and that's the only way you'll succeed long term. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. Now, when we go in and do this, guys, I tell you this because I'm going to teach you guys how to build houses and make profits. But the biggest thing, if I go out and I teach you guys how to make profits building houses, and then you go out and you build one asset in multifamily, and you lose your ass on it, it was a waste of time. And you'll never enter the market ever again because you got your ass kicked. I want to make sure that when you guys come in, you guys make money no matter what. Make sense? Okay. Now, I don't make money teaching this shit. I make money building it. Make sense? Here's why I do this. Because I know some of you guys think that, well, if you make so much money doing it, why do you teach it? Because I have a community of 2,800 people that I built over the last 8 years. And when I send an email out to my community that I have helped make money, like these gentlemen right here, and they go in, they're trying to resume up into bigger assets, the bank won't lend them money unless they've been a part of a larger investment. And because we're building institutional assets of 150 doors, 200 doors, 250 doors, they can go in and become limited partners in our assets, and now they qualify and resume into larger assets that they themselves can build themselves. When I send out an email to my community, I have 2,800 Riches, 2,800 Scott Donaldsons, 2,800 people in my community that invest 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, and we raise $3 to $6 million in about 2 to 3 weeks. Guys from our community. Do you guys mind if I teach you guys how to go out and make money building houses and get into the small multifamily game? And is it okay for you guys if we go out and build 40, 50, 60 million dollar assets? If we help you guys get into the small game? Are you guys okay with that? Yeah? Okay? It's a give and take world, guys. I am here for a reason. I am here to take your money and teach you how to make money. Does that make sense? So let's just be real transparent here. That's why I teach this shit. My incentive, I'm incentivized to help you guys succeed. Because if you go out there and you suck at doing this, you'll make no money, you'll never invest in any of my projects. And the biggest thing is, guys, if I help you go out and I turnkey, make you badasses at underwriting, and your projects pencil, you're incentivized to go out and continue scaling. Your success breeds my success. Iron sharpens iron. The Bible tells us so. But it's iron with friction. And if you guys can tell already, when I go in and I do this, you will have pressure down you if I'm working with you guys and teaching you guys how to go out and scale in this world. Because it's a hard industry to be in. This is a real business, guys. It's not flipping NFTs. We're not putting spaceships on Mars. I'm not drilling oil in Texas. This is homes. This is real estate. This is ground up construction. The same shit you see every single day when you drive down the road and you drive by a D.R. Horton subdivision, Pulte, Lennar, Centex, KB Homes. It's the same shit. And most of these guys are not that smart, not that sophisticated. And everybody in here has the same capabilities of being able to take down these assets. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. Now, how many of you guys want to build some houses? All right, let's do it. Now, when we go in, guys, I want to explain this really quick. All right, there's 74% of the median home buyers. Okay? There's 24% of the upper median. And then there's 2% that are ultra wealthy. Okay? Now, we don't function here, and we don't function here. Where we function is we fill the gap right here at the upper middle class. Okay? The reason we don't function on the ultra wealthy is because there's a very small market pool. If the market compresses, these people are the ones that sit back and they hold on their money. Most people in this room can't afford to go in and build a $3 million, $2 million home and sit on the mortgage payments for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 12 months while we wait for the market to season for you to find the right buyer in the ultra wealthy market. So we don't do that because it's too high risk. Does that make sense? Okay, now, the median, guys, is like fix and flipping. I don't function there. Why? Because the big builders like D.R. Horton, Pulte, Lennar, these guys own every single facet of the industry. From the mortgage company, the title company, they own the builder, they wear all the hats. And their market compression, their spread, guys, is based on volume. It's this big. They might make $60,000 per house. But if you end up making a mistake or something happens or the market becomes volatile and you only make $30,000 and you spend 5 months building a house, go flip burgers at McDonald's, okay? It's less risk and you'll probably make more money. Make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, now, when we go in, we function on the upper median and we look at $1 million homes. Let's say that we function between that $750 and that $1.5 million mark. Is that fair? Okay? That's where safety lies, between that $700K to that $1.5 million mark. Okay? Now, let me explain Tucson to you guys, because I know this market really, really well when it comes to a multifamily perspective and just an economic perspective. You guys are very similar to where I'm from in Albuquerque. And I always tell people, if you get wealthy in Albuquerque, shit, you get wealthy anywhere. Okay? And it's like that in Tucson too. The difference is that you guys are getting the overflow from Phoenix. You guys are privileged because you guys are getting the economic growth that Phoenix can't handle because it's growing so fast. Tucson, guys, you guys are stagnant for 2 decades. 2, guys. In the 1990s and all through 2000s, you guys experienced no growth. Rent rates were the same. In fact, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you could buy multifamily, value add at $30,000 a door. You can't find anything for over $100,000 a door in today's market right here in Tucson. So in the last 7 years, guys, your real estate in the multifamily sector is tripled in value. Even in lieu of this, you still can't find it under $100,000 a door. 7 years ago, you could pick up almost any multifamily apartment complex in Phoenix for $30,000, $35,000 a door. Yeah? How many of you guys are multifamily here? Anybody? How long have you been in multifamily? Multifamily. How long have you been in it?
Oh, that's for 5 to 7 years.
Oh, for 5 to 7 years. You were hitting it right when it was turning.
Yeah.
Okay? So I deal with all the brokers over here. Clint, his dad, all these guys. I've been dealing with these guys with Marcus and Milchap and these guys with Cushman and Wakefield for forever. And so we were looking at real estate down here. We were working on multifamily for the longest time. Now, the attributes that you guys have here in Tucson today is the fact that you guys experience that growth, and now your economics will help sustain the growth that you guys experience. Most cities don't have that attribute to be able to sustain that growth and be able to have that type of growth that quick and then sustain it. You guys have been able to sustain it, haven't you? Yeah? And you guys still have economic growth happening here. There's still industry coming to Tucson right now, isn't there? They're still turning dirt, they're still building homes here in Tucson, aren't they? You guys are still in a housing deficit today, are you not? You are. And so to your guys' advantage, you guys are taking advantage of what's happening, the growth that Phoenix has experienced. Phoenix went down and studied Texas back in 2009. They went through one of the most catastrophic real estate compressions Phoenix had ever seen in history. Their number one industry that they had in 2008 was leisure and travel. It's why Florida continues to get annihilated. They haven't fixed it yet. But here in Phoenix, they went out and studied how the economic growth was taking place in the Dallas-Fort Worth area predominantly. Dallas-Fort Worth is the most progressive city in growth in the entire United States. And Phoenix adapted and acclimated to what Dallas-Fort Worth did. And now, to your guys' advantage, tech and industry has exploded here in the Phoenix and Tucson area. You guys can benefit from that. Okay? Now, if I'm somebody moving into Tucson, okay, and I already know this area because we have some of our community already building out here. If I'm moving into Tucson, I do well. I'm a doctor. I'm an engineer. I'm a self-employed. I own a supply house. I'm a plumber that does extremely well. I'm a scientist. I'm somebody that works. I'm a high-paid executive down at the university. And I want to go live in a better neighborhood, give my kids better schools, have a little bit of open space, and I want to live in a safer neighborhood where there's no crime. Where do I move here in Tucson? Where at? Foothills? Where else, guys? Foothills? Where else? Marana? Foothills, Marana? Okay, Foothills, Marana, Dale, where else? Pearl Valley? Oro Valley, yeah, Oro Valley. Okay, now, here's what's cool about Tucson. Your land is still affordable, which is awesome. Okay, now, we have some land title in Marana right now. In fact, I think it's one of the most prime pieces of land for multifamily in Marana. That we're going to land on the ground here sooner than later. Economically, we just kind of shelved that project for a couple of years because we weren't ready to go on that 130 unit build that we were going to do in Marana. That's a great area. Vale, great area. You know, it's you go drive down to Vale. It's not the prettiest area. It's not the prettiest area. It's just cactus up in the dirt, right? But there's growth there, right? That's a good area to move into. Yeah, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, when we go into these areas, guys, I want you to think about these areas not from a resale perspective on houses. Okay. Someone remind me that this my charger is plugged into this wall here a little later. I will forget that thing. My wife will kill me. We lose those things like.
Pull it out and have it with you.
What's that?
Pull it out.
Still charging.
Oh, no, that thing's charging. I just need to get my phone back. Okay, now I'm gonna work with you guys. Pull your phones out, guys. Okay? Pull your phones out. Because I'm gonna share with you guys how to find land. It's the biggest obstacle that most people have to encounter. It's funny, guys. This stuff came natural to me. Like, I just go in, I'm like, hey, there's money right there. I'm gonna go look for land, but there's money. I don't go into areas that there's some broke ass shit on the side of the road and go look for land there. You can't take money from broke ass people. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Yeah? Sure. So it's like, it never fails to make like kind of lot. I'm like, great. We're like, you sell it for like, our owner cost. And then there's like homeless people that are living around them and they're broken out trailers. You can't make money with their broken people, guys. You know where you get money from? People who have it. Your money exists in other people's pockets. You just have to get that money back in your pockets. So you have to go into areas where there's fluency. And when we go in, we're talking about banks and lending, guys. How many of you guys would love to have the banks actually pay for the land for you? How many of you guys would like to have that happen? Okay? It'll happen, guys. But there's only two ways to get the banks to pay for that land for you. You either have to have it as an equity contribution, or you have to pay for it out of your pocket. And for most people, even if you have the money, why give it to the bank? Why go in and give it to the bank if you don't have to? Why not leverage someone else's money to be able to go out and give you bandwidth for financial gain? Does that make sense? That's how the wealthy get wealthy, guys. They use other people's money, they leverage it to go out and make money. Okay? So when we go in and we're looking at this, guys, we're looking at comps and we're looking at values. Okay? Now, when we look at comps and values, this is what the banks are looking for right here. Okay? We're not doing anything different than the banks. Now, when we go into these areas, homes for sale near Marana, Arizona for $1 million. Okay? Let's go into it. That's nice up, 6.9, 3.2. That's not in our business model. We just scroll down. Okay, I like this one though. Over at 3652 West Patina, West Patina Drive in Marana. It's a 3-bed, 3.5 bath, 3,081 square feet. Okay, 3,081 square feet. That's the abbreviation for square foot. $1.32 million. $1.32 million. Okay, on the resale value. So I'm going to take $1,320,000. Take that in your phone. Okay. Divide that by 3,081. What is that number? $1.32 million. $1,320,000. Divided by 3081. $428 per square foot, guys. Okay, that's the price per square foot. Okay, and I'm going to explain why this is important. Okay, let's go a little less ambitious on this. In fact, I'm going to put downward leverage on my business models here. There's another house over at the 3770 Manzanita plant. The Manzanita plant. There must be a building homes here. Shit, there's other ones. 1 million. Manzanita plant is 941. That's attractive. That's a nice tract. There's another one here in for 3,022 square feet, $1.3 million. There's another 3,022 square feet, $1.3 million. Rich, you guys need to be building in this area, bro. You need to get out of that area you're in. This is more fluid. This is where you need to be done. Right here. You need to be in this area. Okay? I like this area. You go back in, let's put a little bit more downward pressure. There's this house over at 6965 West Turquoise Hill. Okay? Now, this one is 1,149,995. Okay? So just call it 1.15 million. Okay? So call it $1.15 million. And the square footage is 4,019. Okay? I'm going to put some downward pressure. This one, plug in $1,150,000 into your phones. And divide that by 4,019.
286.
What is it?
286.
286? Okay. Okay. I don't like that. How about this one though? This is a simple build. This one is the spot is off the Sycamore and in Manhattan. This is a 3,244 square foot house. I like this. This puts a little bit more downward pressure on my business model. But I like this range. $927,000, 927K, divided by 3,244 square feet. Okay, what is that number, guys? How much? $285 a square foot? $285 per square foot. Okay, now, I'm going to give you guys some rule of thumb here. Never build in an area where comps don't support at least $275 a square foot. It's not worth your time. There's no money to be made. There's way more money to be made elsewhere. If the price per square foot is under $275, don't build it. Now, all these two homes that are right here are tract homes, guys. These are builders. These are big builders that are building for that price. That's why they're able to build it there. Everywhere else, though, if you go in, $1.32 million at 1275 North Sonora is 3,022 square feet. These are custom. Buy this one out. 1,332. Just do 1.3 million. Just do it straight. 1.3 million divided by 3,000 square feet. 444. These are the customs, guys. 444 a square foot. 444. Okay. This is where I would go. I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for price per square foot, highest price per square foot, and lowest days on the market. I'm looking for the best price per square foot and the lowest days on the market. Now, when you sit back and you're wondering, what the hell do I build? You build a house that has the highest price per square foot and the lowest days on the market. Why? You can exit it fast, and you make your money and you walk. Moving money is good money, guys. Stagnant money is bad money. You want to position yourself where you're going in and you're making money fast and you're moving your capital. If that means I got to sell a house that's right by a home that's $428 and the house that's sold the quickest is $400 a square foot, I'm going to sell my house at $400 a square foot and I'm going to exit it. Because if I sit in this house in order to get $428, for sake of example, for 150 days, why would I wait an extra 150 days when I can go in and sell a house in 24 days for just a little bit less? Now I can put that money right back into another bill. You might make an extra $40,000, $50,000, but you just sell it 3 months of your life. And now with that 3 months, you could already have another house that's past frame stage. And now when you compound time, guys, you could do 2 or 3 more bills over the course of 18 to 24 months, and you could go out and make an extra 400 grand as opposed to making an extra 40 grand. Does that make sense? And you de-risk your project. So what you go in and you duplicate the highest price per square foot and the lowest days on the market. In fact, if I find a floor plan that has that, I just take that floor plan and it's all public information. You can go into the city website and you can look at that set of plans right off the city website. You can scroll in to where the architecture's name is, and you can see the architect that did it. You can call that architect and tell them how much you love that floor plan, and you want to build that exact floor plan on the lot right down the road. Does that make sense? You can change the elevation. You can put stone on different walls. You can do different walkouts. You can turn the garage and adjust it to fit that lot, but you can build the same damn floor plan. And nobody will ever know that you built the exact same floor plan. You just change the elevation, you build the same damn house, guys. You don't reinvent the wheel. If the concept has been proven in the area, all you do is duplicate next one. Make sense? Okay, I built all the same houses, guys. I have like 10 floor plans that I've used forever. No one even knows. Custom subdivisions, you walk into my subdivisions, you cannot tell that the same homes are being built even 2 floors down from each other. By the way we adjust the fireplaces, the bump outs, the way we put the windows horizontal or vertical, the way we land doing the shafts and the pitches on the roofs, or if we don't do pitch, we do a flat roof, and we just change the elevation. We put a pitch on this side and not on this side, on this house. The next house, we put a pitch here and flat here, and we change the windows from horizontal to vertical. You know, that's it. We do a bump out on the garage on one, the next one we don't, we do it on the bathroom. Does that make sense? All we do is change the elevation. Nobody even knows it's the same house. We just duplicate it. If people like that floor plan, bring build it. That's all you do. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. Now, the bank is looking at comps and asset value. So if the bank is looking at this stuff, you're going to go go in and execute based on what the banks are looking for before the banks do. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, now, when we go in and do this, guys, let's take this right down the middle. I'm not building this. I'm not going to compete up against these guys. I can make money here, but I'm not going to do it. Let's put a little bit of downward compression on this price per square foot. Let's say that all I'm going in and doing is I'm selling these things for $385 a square foot. Okay, so let's say we sell for $385 a square foot. Okay, now when we go in and sell for $385, let's take these values right here, guys, because this is what's important. You never pay more than 15 to 20% of the resale value of the house for the land. You have to stay within 15 to 20% of the value of the house. So if we're going out, we're buying if we're selling a $1.3 million home, what's the maximum amount you can pay for that land? You take $1.3 million, $1,330,000 divided times 266. Okay, $266,000 is the maximum amount that you can pay for that land. Now, is there lots for sale for $300,000 in Marana? Is there? Yeah, for sure, right? Now, I'm going to go leverage those $300,000 lots. For sure, I'm going to go negotiate. But I'm not going to pay more than $366 because my underwriting isn't going to allow me to. Does that make sense? If that's what houses are selling for in Marana, I will not pay more than $266 for that lot. So if the lot price on this is $265,000, okay, we'll call it $265. Okay, that's the most that I'll pay for it. 20, 15 to 20% for the lot. Okay, that's the maximum I'll pay for it. Now, when we go in, guys, at 265, let's build out this square footage. Okay, and we'll redo the sales price. Let's build a 3,000 square foot house. Now, they're selling for $444 a square foot. Well, let's build a 3,000 square foot house, and let's put downward compression on my business model. Let's say that the market tanks on me. Market's already tanked, guys, just FYI. We're going through the better part of it right now. But let's just put some downward pressure on my business model. 3,000 square feet, but instead of 444, what's the resale price at 385? We take 3,000 square feet times $385 a square foot. We're going to multiply that times 385. That's $1.15 million. So our resale price is going to be $1,155,000. You guys understand the reason I'm doing this is what if you have to take a $100,000 scrub on your sales price? What if the market tanks? What if COVID hits, but it goes the opposite direction than it did? And what if all the increase in values, what if you lose all those? Okay? And I'm just going to show you what compression will do to our business model. Okay? Because here's what happened, guys, in 2008. 2008 was the Lehman Brothers collapses. It's a housing crisis. Housing is what created the issue in 2008. Worst housing crisis in American history in 2008. I start feeling it in October, November of 2008. How many of you guys worked through the 2008 recession? Okay? Okay, so you guys will remember exactly how I felt, guys. 2008, November. I have 3 retail buildings that are nearing completion. 3. And I lose 100% every lease on these buildings. Okay? 100% of them. And I ended up having to go in. I'm opening up Subway stores, stuffing them in my buildings. I'm opening up beauty salons, going to get video certified, BioWash certified, putting these bullshit beauty salons in my buildings. Why? Because I need life in my buildings. I was putting anything in my buildings I could to feel life in those things. So I start feeling it. Bank of Oklahoma, Bank of Albuquerque calls me up. They said they're cutting my lending. If they're not going to fund the last $300,000 of one of our bills. The other 2 were finished, so we had no leases. So they cut through our financing. So now we have like 50-some homes that are either under construction, finished construction, for sale, or in some phase of construction that has to get finished. So we're funding the finishing projects. We're a debt-free company. Every house that we've ever built, we fund it cash. And the reason why is people look and they go, that's stupid. No, it's not. When you can turn 3 homes a year with the same dollar, you make a 100% return on your investment with your money. Whatever else you park your money, you make a 100+% return on the same dollar bill in a year. Where do you park that money? We were building these homes in 120 days. So we were just revolving cash. And I was building all my houses cash back in those days. Thank God. Because what ended up happening, guys, is that we went in and we started feeling the depression from October all the way until March of 2009. I didn't know if we were going to make it through. By April, we started turning profits again. But every single dollar that we made was going back to servicing debt. And so we were servicing over 6 figures in debt service on our buildings every single month. And so at the end of 2009, in January of 2010, my dad was my accountant. He was an accountant for 32 years. My dad worked for me for over 20 years doing my books. And my dad came to me in January of 2010. And he goes, it was just after the holidays, and he was doing our 1099s and our W-2s. And he had already kind of tallied up our books. And he goes, I hope you have some money set aside for taxes this year so you have a big tax bill. I told my dad, there's no way, Dad. I said, I didn't make no money last year. I said, I fire sold every single freaking house that I have. There is no way I have a tax bill. I didn't make no money. I didn't think I made money because every single house I sold, my money went towards servicing the debt on these buildings that were empty. Does that make sense? So when we went back and we took a collective audit of every single house we built, the house that I made the least amount on that year was $48,000. The second house that I made the least on was $52,000. Every other house that we sold that year, we made over $70,000 net on every single house. And I sat back and said, no shit. We went back and we audited. I said, we're going to keep building houses, guys. And so instead of going in and doing it the way we were doing it, I went back to my subs and I said, hey guys, I'm going to get us through this recession. But we're going to continue building houses, but instead of you bidding the projects, I'm going to tell you what I can afford. If you're willing to do it, great. If you can't, no problem. Every single sub, if bid on the carrot, is still doing business with us today, and they're still in business today. And all the rest of them, most of them went out of business, guys. The reason I tell you this story is because even in a compression, guys, even in a compression, we have never, ever, ever lost money on even one house. Even in the worst time in American history, in the worst housing crisis, we continue making money building homes. And that's why I put downward pressure on this business model. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, now, when we go in, guys, we're going in and we're competing against a $1.32 million bill, guys. We took a $180,000 scrub on the resale price. We're also going in, we're paying a maximum amount for our land at 20%. I took the resale price based off of this value here. I didn't even take it off of this value. So I'm paying maximum for my land, and I'm taking a compression of $180,000 on my build price. Okay? Now, the average price per square foot to build a house nationwide is $141 per square foot. Okay? Now, we're building for more money. For those of you guys that are not in construction, you're going to have to hire a general contractor to help you. If you're going out and hiring a general contractor and building a product like we're building, you have to build a nice product. It's going to cost you about $165 a square foot to build that product. Rich, how much are you building your houses for? About $130 a square foot, guys. He does have his own employees. He is building. How much are you building your houses for? About $85 a square foot. So when we go in, we're building a nice product. These houses that I'm talking about cost me about $154 a square foot to build. If you guys pull out your phones, the last house that we just finished, I only build like 2 homes a year, and I really only build them to showcase them for you guys. I stopped building single family homes. I can just do multifamily, but I do homes still, and I really just do it for you guys. If you go to your phones and you Google Ken Weaver, if you go in and you Google Ken Weaver, this house just went for sale. This is one of my houses, and that house cost me $154 a square foot. It's in Placitas, New Mexico. If you guys Google that house right there is $154 a square foot. Look at the quality of the trim out on that house. Okay, and then I'll show you guys the contrary. Okay, now we're also building in this market here, and we're also building over in the Tacoma and the Seattle market. Seattle is a little bit different beast. So let me give you guys some addresses in Seattle. I've got a bunch of homes going up out there. It's not a subdivision that we just finished up out there. So I'll give you guys an address up there as well. We have a lot of addresses. I don't have them all memorized.
Is that in New Mexico?
That one is in New Mexico. That was in Placitas, New Mexico, right down the street from you guys. Okay? So if you go in, Now, if you guys Google, here's one address, 8209. Let me erase some of this stuff. You guys okay if I erase some of this parking down here? Get rid of some of this?
This is 145.
10 basket. 10 basket. 154 square foot. And then go into this one, 8209 Northeast 124th Street. Any unit, guys, we have a bunch of them there. That's just one address. This is in Kirkland, Washington. And the reason I show you guys this is because these are actual products that are being built. Your guys' labor pool here in Tucson is great. Your cost of living down here is really, really low. So your price per square foot to build is very, very low as well. You can build a lot of home here in Tucson for $155 a square foot is what I'm getting. Okay? So when we go in, guys, let's say that this costs you $165 a square foot to build. This right here is selling for $1.2 million or thereabouts, 1.1 to 1.3, depending on which unit that was, I can't remember. But 1.1 to 1.3, this is about 1,500 square feet, guys. This right here cost me $185 per square foot to build in one of the most expensive markets across the nation. Okay, the Bay Area is probably a little more, New York City is probably a little more, but in one of the most expensive municipalities, this is the price per square foot that we built that lot at. Now, on this one, if we go in and we have 3,000 square feet, and it costs us $165 a square foot to build. What is $165 per square foot times $3,000? What is it? $495,000. That's your build cost, guys. That includes your soft costs and hard costs, that's everything. Now, if we go in and we have 6% on our resale cost to be able to sell this, what is our resale cost to sell that house? What's 6% of $1,155,000? 69,000. So 69K. Now, we have our cost for debt, so our debt service. Don't forget about your cost for money, okay? Now, these are escalating loans, and I'm going to talk to you guys about how banks work here and how banks lend money, okay? Now, when we go in, guys, the lending on this, you don't need $1.15 million. What you need is you need the cost of your build and you need the cost of your land. So if you take both, we're going to need, what is that? That's 495, 5. That's 5, 6, 7, 755, 760. 760K? Okay, we need 760, yeah? Is that right? 5, 6, 7, 760. Okay, so we need 760K. Okay? On the $760,000, the debt service, including lending fees, is going to cost you someplace in the neighborhood of about $40,000. Okay? It's about a 6 to 7 month build to be able to build this. Now, all in, guys, we're at $869,000. 869. Okay? So we subtract that $869,000 from $1,155,000. What is that? So we take $1,155,000 minus 869, $286,000. 286. That's your net out, guys, with downward compression. $286,000 net. How are you doing? You guys doing okay? Okay. What if that thing sells for $180,000 more, just based on current market values? How are you doing now? You go in, guys, and you make 400 grand on that build, on one build, guys, one build, 400 grand. These little deals right here, we're making about 380K on these. On each one of these little builds over here. This one right here on a basket weaver, I'll net out about 310 on this one. We have it under contract now. Well, we'll get under contract this afternoon. Okay? Now, these are simple builds, guys. A 3,000 square foot home, it's a 6-month build. It's really a 5-month build. Basket weaver took me 5 months to build. It's a 2,600 and 2,700 square foot house. Guys, it'll take you guys 6 to 7 months to build this. How are you doing? 286. Pretty good, huh? Yeah? Okay. Now, how many of you guys want to understand how to pay for the land? Okay? Here's where the banking comes into play, okay? Now, when we go in and we talk about land, guys, you're gonna need to go in, there's two things you need. Okay, are you guys okay? Can I erase all this? You guys okay with that? Erase all this stuff right here? These are the world's smallest whiteboards. Alright, I'm gonna leave this stuff right here. That stuff's important. I'm gonna leave that. Okay, now, here's the process, guys. And most people, you guys aren't taught this stuff in school. Okay, how many of you guys are immigrants in here and are not, want to go through our U.S. education system? Okay? I get it! Why are you here? Why do you guys come to America?
Initially,
School? Yeah, why you stay in America? Their life. Who else is not from here? Who else is not from here? Why do you come to America? Their life. And where are you from? From Mexico? Yeah. Okay, you got your family here? No? You can keep your family here? You have a family?
I don't have family here.
Well, will you keep them here? Oh, yeah. That's life. Better life, right? Who else is not from here? Who else is not from here? Where are you from, sir? Mexico? Why'd you come to America? Better life. Look, guys. In our U.S. American education system, it's to your disadvantage, guys.
Yeah.
The Rockefellers put our education system together to teach you guys how to go out and become great employees, not to take advantage of what America was actually founded on. You guys understand that we're the only country that was founded on capitalism, free enterprise? The only country in the entire world. In spite of all our problems, guys, we're still the best country in the world to live in. Does that make sense? We're the only country in the world where you don't even have to have citizenship. You don't even have to put your feet on the ground here, and you could buy real estate and profit from it, being an immigrant, and not even have a social security number. All you have to do is have an employer identification number. You don't even have to have a visa. You don't have to have a green card. You don't have to have anything. You can come in and take advantage of the American dream, and you don't even have to live here. Does that make sense? And I will put money on the fact that the people that did not go through the U.S. education system will become more successful quicker. All of you guys have the same opportunity. All of you guys can hit success doing this. But the ones that didn't go through our U.S. education system will end up being more successful quicker than those people who did. And the reason why is because you were born to win, but through life, in our education systems, and your parenting, you were conditioned to lose. Plain and simple, guys. You guys were born winners, but conditioned to lose, guys. What I mean by that is you have millions of sperm cells, guys, millions of sperm cells, and you were the winning sperm cell out of million. You were the fastest motherfucker out there. You swam faster than any other sperm cell you want, but yet life has conditioned to make you lose. And so what happens every time I talk about banking is it jacks you guys up because you guys have been mentally restricted to trade money for time. You guys haven't went out and learned and don't have any clue about how banking actually works. There was 2 people that raised their hand over here that are in my community, one back here that's in my community, and 2 other people in the entire audience that came in and even understands how banks underwrite assets, guys. How banks look at comps and values over everything else, okay? And when you understand that you can leverage assets against lending value, you win, okay? But there's tools that you need in order to do so. And so what ends up happening, guys, is you have to go through the process of entitlement. So first you have to go and you got to get your surveys, okay? You're going to need a boundary survey, and you're going to need a topographic survey, okay? These 2 things right here alone will cost you someplace in the neighborhood of about $2,500, okay? Now, the boundary survey, the seller typically supplies for you. You typically don't pay for that. The topo is typically about $1,500. Let's say you have to pay for both. It's $2,500. Now you're going to have an architect or a draftsman. Okay. Now here in Tucson, you guys can probably get a draftsman and an architect for as cheap as we do in Albuquerque. Draftsman charges about $1 to $1.50 a square foot to be able to do it. So if you go out and build a 3,000 square foot house, typically it's about $3,000. You hire an architect, it might cost you as much as $6,000. So let's say that this costs you $6,000 to be able to get an architect. Now, when you go in, you're also going to need a civil engineer. You need a civil engineer, and you're going to need a structural engineer. The civil engineer will cost you about $3,000 to do a grading and drainage plan. Structural engineer costs you about $1,000. All the structural engineer does is he takes the AutoCAD drawings that already have the seismic, the wind loads, and the shear wall, and all he does is look at them, review them, puts his stamp on them, takes him about an hour at best, and he gets cut a check for $1,000. How many of you guys want to make $1,000 an hour being a structural engineer? They're getting paid for their staff, guys. So when you guys go in, you negotiate this structural engineer costs about $1,000. It's all in AutoCAD. So altogether, guys, to get permit ready, you're going to need a total of 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 12,000. Let's call it $15,000. Okay, 12,500. Let's say about $15,000 max. Okay. So when people say, "What does it cost you to get started?" That's what it costs you to get started right there. $15,000. That's what it's going to cost every single person in here to build a house like this. Okay, in order to do this. For those of you guys that can't afford $15,000, you guys better pay the fucking attention more than anybody else. You're not going to send a place in your life. I'm serious. I'm just leveling with you guys. But here's the thing. The good news is we have newsletters that will help you guys. And you know what I also know is that as I say that, and I insult you saying that, don't get your underwear too feathered up. It's okay. Understand that 85% of U.S. American people are in the same damn position you are. Make sense? And I know that. And so for that reason, don't count yourself out, because this is all you need is $15,000. It's not very much money. And you can go in. Let me explain how, guys. You guys ever go up to a teller at a bank, and the first thing they do is they have their little iPad, and they go up to you and say, "Hey, sir, how are you doing? You're doing fine. How are you doing today?" "I'm doing well, man. How can I help you today?" "You need $50,000 to pull that out of your account, or someone else's money?" "Someone else's." "Okay, perfect, man. So, then you have your debit card. Let's go ahead and take a look at your account and put it in your card." "Hey, sir, do you realize that you qualify for a business line of credit today on the Bank of America credit card? Do you realize that?" And typically, what do, guys? When they do this to you, what do? You're like, "Oh, I'm good. I don't need that line of credit. I don't need that," right? Okay? And as uncomfortable as he is for the moment right now, it's about how uncomfortable you get when the banker comes up to you because there's a line behind you, right? Now, guys, we're going to teach you guys how to build a business line of credit so that you can leverage it to help you. Listen, guys, listen to this. 85%, actually, 95% of businesses fail in the very first year, guys. 95% of businesses open every single year fail in year number 1. These are real statistics, guys. Out of the 5% that make it, 85% of them don't turn a profit until year number 3. Year number 3. Those are real stats, okay? Now, you go in, you sell one home for $1.15 million in year number 1, guys. Year number 1. That's your gross annualized revenue. If you go out and you net 286, you're in the top 0.2% of all business owners since the history of Adam and Eve. You qualify for a business line of credit, okay? Before you do this. How many of you guys went through college? Okay, when you go to the registrar's office and you get your classes freshman year in college, you show up, you get your classes. Where do you go right after you get your classes? To the bookstore. You go straight to the bookstore, okay? What's sitting in front of the bookstore, guys? There's a table. Guess what that table says on it? Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and they're giving you broke ass, no job having, no need for a credit card having, a credit card for $2,000 to $5,000, aren't they? Yep. Freshman year, no business with a credit card, entry and welcome to America, baby. Welcome to life and death. Right? First day, no credit, no nothing. Guess what the banks do for new businesses? They're giving you the exact same opportunity to go in debt, guys. Leverage it. Because what you're going to land up doing, guys, is you're going to take this $15,000 and you're going to have 2 spreadsheets for the bank. Okay? There's going to be one for you, and there's going to be one for the bank. Okay? That spreadsheet is going to look exactly like this. Every bank in America has one, guys. This is a real bill. This one right here is a real bill. This is a real breakdown, guys. One of my students. Now, when we go in and we look at this, guys, every single line item that you need is on you. You're going to take this set of prints, all this right here, you're going to give this to the bank. This right here is going to give the bank the comps of the values of these assets. The comps of the values of this asset are going to give you that 444 a square foot that we saw over here, but we underwrote it at 385. That's all we needed to get this thing to pencil. So now, when we go in, guys, the banks are looking at the value of the asset. So we have two spreadsheets. When you go in, the first thing on that spreadsheet is going to be the land. That's going to be that $265,000. The second thing is going to be the $15,000 that you guys spend on your entitlements. Because when I go in and I get lending from the bank, guess what I want back from the bank on my very first draw? I want my $15,000 back. So that way I could go in, I can start on house number 2. Because the second you get that money back and you break ground on that house, guess what you're going to be starting on immediately? Your second house, guys. So that way you're entitling your second piece of land as you're building house number 1. So that way the second house number 1 sells, guess what you're doing the day after? You're turning dirt. You're turning dirt next day. Okay? So now we go in, guys, and we go into the bank, and now we have our dirt work, our lumber package, our framing, our electrical, plumbing, mechanical, all our costs, all the way down. And the one for you, we're going to underwrite this one at $760,000. Now, one thing I know is nobody's walking in any home with equity in it today, are they? Are they? Yes or no? No. So when we go in, we're going to underwrite this deal at the value of the asset in our compressed value of $1.15 million, right? Now, the real value is 1.3, but let's say we just underwrite it at $1.15 million. If we go in and the bank lends us 80%, or let's just say 75%, let's cut it down to 75%. If the bank lends us 75% of $1.15 million, how much is the bank willing to give us on that asset, guys? How much are they willing to give us at 75%? $862,000. How much do we need? How much do we need? 760. Does that include your land? There's 2 ways to go in and put your down payment, guys, that they didn't teach you in school. One's cash out of pocket, and one's a contribution of equity. Now, for those of you guys that are wondering how you afford the actual payments on that each month, guys, you're going to subtract this $40,000 as interest reserve. So they're going to do a reduction of proceeds from the bank. So the maximum amount the bank's going to give you is $822,000. Okay? So the max amount, max proceeds, is $820K. Okay? And that includes your interest reserve. You're paying for this right out of the proceeds of your loan. So now you don't even have any payments until the back end of your loan. Does that make sense? Okay? How many of you guys were taught this in school? Okay? Now, how many of you guys feel like going in and building a $1.1 million asset is pretty ambitious for your first build? How many of you guys are scared to go in and build a $1.1 million bill? Okay? How many of you guys feel safer going in and building a $500,000 bill on your first build? How many of you guys feel safer doing that? Yeah? Okay, let's look at it real quick. Let's look at it real quick. Okay? Let's go in and do the opposite of what I'm doing here. Pull out your phones. I want you guys to do this. Okay? Now, I'm going to erase all this. Okay? I'm going to erase all this. And let's look at this from a $500,000 resale price. Okay? You guys got this concept up on top? Okay. Now, we go in, we have a $500,000 resale price of a home. Okay? Now, we go in and let's say that our lot price is 15% instead of 20. What's 15% of $500,000?
75,000.
How much?
75,000.
75K. Okay, now, let's say our build cost is less. Let's say that we're building a little 2,250 square foot house. 2,250 square feet. Okay, let's say that our build cost is on the national average of $140 a square foot. Okay, so if we take $140 a square foot on our national average, what is 2,250 times 140?
315.
How much?
315.
350?
15.
315. Okay, so 315 for our build cost. What is 6% of $500,000? How much? 30K. 30K, this is our resale price. The resale cost. This loan costs about $25,000 for this loan right here. We're gonna land up needing $390,000. 390K needed, okay? Okay, now, we take 390, plus we take another 55,000. That's 400 and, what is that, $445,000? Our net proceeds, our net profit on a $500,000 house is $55,000 now. Okay, now, let's say we go in and we do these exact same spreadsheets. The banking spreadsheet has exactly the same thing as the spreadsheet that you have up here. The only difference is you're inflating everything by 15 to 20%. You're also putting a management fee in them. You're also putting a development fee in them. The banks know that you don't work for free. The only difference is that when you're building spec, you go in and you take the proceeds on the back end, not the front end. When you're a custom builder, how many of you guys are custom builders? Okay, how many of you guys take your draws based on percentage of completion with customers? Are you building spec? Are you building custom? Okay, so on your custom builds with customers, it's typically you get 1/3 down, you get 1/3 after framing, and then you get 1/3 upon completion. It's pretty typical, yeah? Okay, so we go in, all of that is baked into this spreadsheet right here, okay? On this one, you're just going in for yourself, and you're just baking in what you need, this 760, that's all you're baking in. Now, on this one, you're gonna need 390, okay? So on one spreadsheet, you're gonna have 390K. The other spreadsheet, you're gonna have 500,000. If we go in and get 75% of 500K, what's 75% of 500K, guys? How much? 375? 475. No, it's not 475. What is it? 375. Okay, so we're gonna get a maximum amount from the banks. Maximum amount of $375,000. Okay, how much do we need, guys? Who comes up with the $15,000? You do. Guess what else you have to come up with? $15,000 for your entitlement, and you can't get it out. So now you're $30,000 in there, and you have your interest reserve for debt of $25,000. So now you go in, you have 25K. Plus you got 15K, plus another 15K, so 30,000. So you got $55,000. You're gonna have to go in and put out of pocket to be able to build a $500,000 house, guys. You have $55,000 out of pocket because there's not enough equity. It's too much risk for the bank to give you the $390,000 you need on a $500,000 loan, but yet you think it's more conservative and safer to build a $500,000 home and a $1 million home, yet the bank feels the contrary. Does that make sense? Okay? The bank is taking a larger interest in the debt than you are. They're assuming 75% of the liability. You're only coming with 25% of the equity. Does that make sense? So when you understand how banks are looking at this, guys, the bank is looking at this $500,000 loan as a higher liability. They're only going to give you $375. You're out of pocket is $555. It's $55,000, and you can't have a replacement of your capital because there's not enough money in the bill for you to replenish your capital until you're done. Make sense? That's the problem with fix and flipping, guys. When you go out and get a loan on a fix and flip, the house isn't worth the value that you're going to make. So you have more money out of pocket to do a fix and flip than you do to do new construction. Same thing with multifamily. How do we go out and leverage multi-million-dollar assets? Is we leverage the equity based on a contribution of equity that we create through what's called entitlements. No one ever taught you that shit in school. I'm sorry. Today's your graduation day. It's time for you to graduate. It's time for you to graduate. Take off your pampers and put on your big boy pants. Okay? And it's time to understand this is the way banks work, ladies and gentlemen. Plain and simple, this is the way banks work. Okay? Now, when we go in, guys, one of the reasons that I do these workshops is because these spreadsheets are everything. I teach this in black and white. Okay? These spreadsheets are a little bit more complicated than that. The way you go out and de-risk a project is once you go out and have your entitlements, guys, you're gonna have a set of prints. You're gonna put those set of prints out to bid. When you put that set of prints out to bid, you're filling in the blanks on the spreadsheet right here. That's how you know you can build for that price per square foot before you get started. Because you're not gonna stop putting your project out to bid until your spreadsheet adds up to that 165 a square foot or less. Does that make sense? Okay? Now we break ground on the house. Now the bank feels more warm and fuzzy. Now we can go back in based on our spreadsheet and our proceed amount that the bank's giving us. And when we go in, guys, you may end up having to come in with a little bit of capital that you have to do from a bridge lender or from another source that will help you with. But when you do, guys, you can exit that capital in the first 30 to 60 days on your spreadsheet because these spreadsheets get approved by the bank. This will be attached to your loan. Your draw schedule from the bank will be based on this spreadsheet right here. They will not give you more money than is on this spreadsheet. But they also won't cut your contributions either, provided that they approve it on the front end. You just can't money launder and take your money elsewhere. But if you go in and you have $15,000 of legitimate money in your entitlements, is that part of your project cost? Yes or no? It is, yeah? So if we go in and we have that $15,000 as part of our cost, we can exit it. If we land up, we have a deposit on our land. We didn't close on our land, we just tied it up. And we had a deposit. Can we go in on our first draw and exit that money out, provided that it's on our budget sheet? Yes or no? Yes, you can. And so you can go in and get a replacement of your capital that all goes towards a contribution of equity when you're getting your actual loan. Make sense? That's how you get the banks to pay for the land, the entitlements, and everything. How many of you guys would love to be into one of these in 30 to 60 days, $0 out of your own pocket? Okay? And that's how we do it, guys. We're doing it right now. My camera guy, Alec, is building a house right now. We helped him build his camera business. We worked at T-Mobile when we first started working with him. I told everybody on my team they have to be building houses. Everybody. All my sales team, everybody on my team is building houses. Every fucking person on my team is building houses. Everybody. I told them we got to be a product for our product. If we're telling people they don't want to do this, you guys have to build it. So every single person on my team is building a house right now. Everybody. Including my camera guy. 29 years old, we're going to pay your house off, you can live in a better neighborhood in the next 2 years. Everybody's building houses. They have to. And we're documenting it. So if you guys follow me on IG, if you guys are following me online, you guys can see that all some of the videos right now have Alec in those videos. Okay? I'll get your question in a second. Now, here's one of the things, guys. This is not complicated, but there is an art to it. Does that make sense? In Las Vegas on February 21st and 22nd, right? Yes. 21st and 22nd, guys. I'm doing an underwriting workshop. It's called Making a Perpetual Money Machine, okay? Now, it's one of our Build Wealth events. I've only done about 4 of them in the past. Every time we do these, they're needle movers for absolutely everybody. Seating is limited. We only have 20 tickets available for Tucson today because it's not until February. I'll be in El Paso on Thursday, and we're going down there to work with our community on Thursday. Doing the same thing we're doing here, we'll open up 20 tickets to them. It's first come, first serve. We don't need all of you guys to go. I just need 20 people to feel like shit. I need this stuff. Because not only are we going to go in and teach you guys how to underwrite the single family deals in the morning, we're going to teach you guys how to get business lines of credit immediately that morning. We're going to teach you guys how to go in, set up your EIN numbers, go in and set your articles of organization up, be able to go in and get your securities number for your from the State Security Commission, the State Corporation Commission, and then we help you guys get your DUNS number and go in and set your entire business up so you guys can get business lines of credit and start right away. And then go in and teach you guys how to do the single family deals. In the afternoon, guys, we teach you guys how to do the multifamily deals. Okay? Now, here's the thing about the afternoon, guys. Lunch is on me, by the way. I pay for your guys' food. It's a 2-day event. Okay? I pay for your guys' food. We feed you guys salads, steak, chicken, good food. That's on me. So I don't want you guys leaving. We're in Las Vegas with that. I'm going to make sure that we don't lose you guys. We're going to get you guys up. We rented out an entire restaurant at the Golden Nut. We're going to go sit at the Golden Nut. That place is nice, by the way. I had no idea. And so we're going to teach you guys. I rented the entire restaurant. We're going to feed you guys. You guys can come back. And we're going to do multifamily in the afternoon. How many of you guys would love to learn how to underwrite multifamily the way we did underwrote single family? Okay? Now, you guys got another 5 minutes in you? Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Come on, that was weak as shit. Cool. Now, guys, you guys got a link in your phone about 30 minutes ago to register for Las Vegas. Steven here, if you didn't get the link in your phone, it's gonna, you guys can scan that QR code or the one up here to be able to register for Las Vegas. Oh, and for Las Vegas, guys, a +1 is $200, okay? I did this in lieu of my wife. My wife doesn't get involved in the business. She won't go in and spend $700 for a ticket. Now, to go out and learn real estate, that's not her thing. But she will come out and spend $200 to come and hang out with me for the day, to be able to join me, get lunch, and be able to hang out with me, to be able to go to the event. That's so beautiful. So I did the +1 for one person, for your spouse or your business partner, so that way you guys can spend the day together at the event. Plus, you really gain their support. Okay? Now, today, guys, until last month, we give you $797 to attend Las Vegas. I give you a $200 discount. Once they're gone, though, guys, the tickets get cussed and restricted. If there's still some of those 20 available, you guys get a $200 discount today, so you really get the +1 for free.
Yes. Quick question, it says +1, does that mean another person goes?
One person, yeah, $200. Yeah, for a +1. Okay, now, let me explain multifamily to you guys, because here's the problem with this, guys. The biggest thing is not going in and making money, guys. This building houses is not hard, guys. It's not a major undertaking. The problem is, if you go in and you build a house that makes $300,000, you're gonna have a check that you owe the IRS for about $120,000 out of it. That sucks. You guys go in and do all the work, take all the risk, and now the IRS is in your pocket for $120,000 in federal income taxes. That's shitty, okay? How many of you guys want to write a check for $120,000 to the IRS after you go in, put your balls on the line to go do this, and now write them a check for $120,000? Anybody? Okay. Multifamily is the best asset class to protect your wealth. Okay? Now, when we go in and we talk about multifamily, guys, let's go back to that same, let's talk about an 8-unit apartment complex. Okay? We talk about an 8-unit apartment complex based on average rents, guys, of $1,750 a month. Your asset's going to be worth about $2.1 million based on the 6% cap rate. Okay? Now, but the IRS says you can go in and you can do what's called cost segregation. And it's called for bonus depreciation. And you can take 100% depreciation in year number 1. Now, we can't depreciate the land. So if we paid $200,000 to $300,000 for the land, let's say $300,000, that's $1.8 million. You can cost segregate in year number 1. And you can take this $1.8 million tax deduction, and that $1.8 million, it never ever expires until you make $1.8 million in net taxable revenue. So if you are a teacher, if you're a police officer, if you're a firefighter, if you're an accountant, if you're an engineer, if you're a dentist, a doctor, a contractor, an electrician, a plumber, and you go out and you make $80,000, $100,000 this year, and you end up paying $25,000 in taxes, at the end of the year, when you file your income taxes, you get 100% of your federal income tax money back in the tax return. If you're an LLC, until you make, as an LLC, it's a pass-through entity, until you make $1.8 million net, you pay no taxes. So if you go in and you build 2 or 3 of these, and you expense them, and in year number 2 or 3, you go out and build an apartment complex, you can go out and make this and pay $0 in federal income taxes until you net $1.8 million in net taxable revenue just through the ownership and cost segregation of a simple little tiny 8-unit apartment complex, guys. I'll build that shit for free for that alone. Does that make sense? Now, you're only going to make, after you've serviced the debt on this asset, you probably have about $650,000 in equity. That's going to be your equity stance. That goes down to your bottom line on your net worth. You can sell it and make $650,000, but now you have a $200,000 tax liability release. Or you can just let it cash flow. You'll only make about $32,000 per year net. People will work a 30-year government job and make that after 30 years with no health insurance almost most of the time. Okay? You could build an 8-unit apartment complex in 6 to 8 months, make $32,000 a year after you service the debt on that asset, all expenses for the rest of your life. And the rent will continue to grow, and you'll continue pumping out larger profits. And you pay no federal income taxes, and you still have an equity stance of $650,000 in that little 8-unit building. That's why I build multifamily, guys, right there alone. If you guys go to my stories on Instagram today, you guys are seeing me and my Taylor Street project case for little 30-unit development. That little 30-unit development is worth about $9.5 million. We'll end up selling that one to roll into our paper asset. We'll make $3.5 million. An entire 30-unit development, turnkey, from the time we bought the land to the time we sell it in the early part of 2026 is a 14-month full cycle project. 14 months, guys. How many of you guys want to be able to go in and generate $3.5 million on a simple little asset like that in 14 months, guys? That's one. We have $160 million under development right now. We have another $200 million coming out around 2026. Guys, and that's all ours. And here's what's cool about it. You guys learn how to underwrite. How many of you guys syndicate apartments get? Raise your hands. Syndicate? Multifamily? Okay, a few of those. Syndicate, we raise capital and to become to limited partners, and then you go in and you have general partners, and you syndicate it. If you go in and syndicate it, with the syndication model, you give 70% of the equity away to your investors, you retain 30% of your multifamily assets, guys. In the construction world here, guys, you retain 100% of our equity. 100%. So you guys go out and raise capital, you guys go and buy a $40, $30, $40, $50 million establishment with 150 units of multifamily on it, you give 70% of the equity away to your investors. Here in construction, guys, when we do it, we collateralize the equity like we do on our single family builds against the equity stack, and we go in and we keep 100% of the equity. So when I tell you guys that I built and I hold $600 million in multifamily development, that's mine. I own it. I don't have investors in there. We exit them out, and we keep that shit forever, and all they do is cash flow. That's what we've been able to do in the multifamily sector. We put in over $600 million in ownership between the retail that I built in my early years and all the multifamily we built in the last 8 years, and that's 100% mine. We don't own any investors. Nobody. It's ours. We own it. Now, you guys may not go out and be able to get to that level. What if you guys just went out and did a few of these little 8-unit builds, 20-unit builds, 30-unit builds, and they work exactly the same way as the single-family builds, provided that you guys go in and understand how to underwrite these assets. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, underwriting is everything. If an 18-year-old comes up to you and says, "Hey, Joe, what should I focus on?" Learn how to underwrite. Because if you learn how to underwrite this, bankers don't understand this shit, guys. Underwriters don't understand this stuff. The reason I teach it is because the underwriting of these assets will protect you indefinitely. Because when you understand the cost to build before you build, and you understand what the asset is worth before you go out and build that asset, that's how you protect yourself financially. Does that make sense? Yes. You'll never lose money if you do that. The problem is most people go in with one eye open, one eye closed. Meaning if they have half of the underwriting, not the other half. The goal is to teach you guys how to underwrite successfully. Because if you guys go in, if you guys learn how to underwrite, guess what, guys? The more success you guys have, the more success we have. Because the only way that you can get into a 30-unit development is to be able to resume into it by investing in one of our larger assets. The only way you can be able to do it. And you can return on investment, do it. And then pay you guys out on your investment. Does that make sense? And you guys can even temporarily cost segregate it while you guys are actually in that asset with us, take advantage of the tax benefit until we cash you guys out, and then you roll it into one of your own deals. Make sense? Okay. Now, if you're here and you just want to invest in assets, we'll help you. Yes, sir. One question.
I don't understand how the bank, like on the first bill I ever do, how they're going to trust me to finance the bill.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. One is you can either do an owner bill. The FHA does a one-time close on a 95% leverage on an owner bill. FHA on an owner bill. That one is underwritten with a debt-to-income ratio and conventional through a conforming lending. Okay, or you go out. We have affiliates, and the affiliates that we have, like People's Financials, Lensure, they are developers. They were developers first, lenders second. And so they understand the process. You will have to hire a general contractor, but we'll teach you how to hire a general contractor to bridge the gap and the right way to hire general contractors. It's the way I do it in Washington State. It's the way I can do it here in Phoenix, guys. I don't GC any of my own projects here. 100% of my builds here in Arizona are built by somebody else, a general contractor. It's the same process that I use. It's the same process that you'll use because it's their experience that vet you for the loan. Does that make sense? And that's how you get to
The money we have to come up with is the entitlements money and what else?
the entitlements money and just escrow money to type your land. That's it. That's it. And then the rest is all underwriting on the spreadsheets, guys. And so it's a replacement of equity. So what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll give you guys bridge, we'll show you guys how to get bridge lending with even some of our affiliates where you could go out and leverage our affiliates to get the bridge lending. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have all the affiliates, guys. If you turn around, you're sitting behind two amazingly sharp gentlemen right behind you that are both building in our community. Rich has been a part of our community at the highest level. Rich, tell about it. You tell how long you've been working with me and tell your experience working with me.
Yeah, so I've been with Jerome for 4 years, and it's been an amazing journey. He's changed my life. It's very for me, my family. I'm on my third build already going, tied up another 2 lots. So I owe it to Jerome, his education, so I'm very grateful to him. Obviously, it's up to me. I executed. I got things done. He provides the information I can use.
Scott, tell me your experience. You've only been working with us now for about almost a year, right? About a year.
A little over a year.
Little over a year.
Yes, we already have a build going on in Scottsdale. We are in the upper median of Scottsdale, but the numbers are higher than what you see up there. So we're working on one right now, which should be about $700,000 profit.
You guys, put your hands together for these gentlemen, by the way. Rich owned a glassy glazing company here in Tucson. I still owns it. And he had never done ground up construction before. He made a mistake on his first build. And even with the mistake, he built right off the I-10, guys. The house was beautiful. I looked at it, we vetted it for him, we looked at the cons, and then he couldn't sell his house. And I told him, throw it on Airbnb for a short time, take it off the market, and then put it back on the market. He ended up building like literally the I-10 was his backyard. And I couldn't understand why he wasn't selling it. Then I went to the listing, and I go, see that road right behind your build bridge? And he goes, well, that's Interstate 10. I was like, no shit, that's your backyard. Like, no wonder that thing ain't selling. Took it off the market, Airbnb it, made how much extra a month more than your mortgage for the Airbnb when you were short-term rental?
Making 3,000 extra.
3,000 extra a month for your short-term rental. Then you land up putting it back on the market just a few months later, right? And then how much did you land up getting out on that house, even with that mistake?
About $250,000.
About $250,000, nice. And how long did that bill take you, Rich?
It took me about 8 months.
About 8 months to do that first deal. So even jack his shit up, you can still make money. But he's not gonna ever make that mistake again, guys. He'll make that mistake. I'm learning from that mistake. And I highlight that stuff, guys, because you're gonna do the same dumb shit. Guys, I promise. And my goal is to be able to help you guys through that stuff. And to Rich's disadvantage, he had direct access with me because he's one of our Build Wealth members. This gentleman paid $30,000 a year to come in for 2 years in a row to be a part of our high-level Build Wealth community. And he didn't leverage me entirely like he should have respected me. He just was overly respectful. And so I looked at parts of his build, but I didn't look at all of it. And then when it was too late, I was like, shit, Rich, why didn't you bring it to me, right? And so now he's a little closer because now he's scaling up into the multifamily stuff right now. And that's why he's still here, he's still learning, he's still part of what we're doing. Because now he's adding up into the multifamily. Same thing with Scott right now as well. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, February is still a few months away. Okay? Get your ass to Las Vegas because seats are limited. Now, you guys see Steven right here? Steven just finished his first build as well. He actually, my ECA project, which is a $38 million development, he owns 2.5% of it. Figure out the math of that, guys. He's been working with me since 1999, not 1999, 2019. Sorry, I hate myself. I've been doing this since 1998. Since 2019, it was my very first event in Irvine, California. He works with us in the company. He's also building houses. He's also in multifamily, guys. He's a white-collar professional. He was a white-collar investigator, federal investigator for white collar crimes, retired, he came in, he's building houses as a second career, and he works with us to be able to have opportunities for our entire community. So he's not just like a sales guy, guys. He is here doing what you guys are also doing. Does that make sense? And so is everybody that's part of our team. Now, look, guys, we have until February for you guys to get there. The problem is we have Thanksgiving, distraction. We have Christmas, distraction. We have New Year's resolution, distraction, waste of fucking time. Don't make New Year's resolutions. Start your shit today. You're gonna hear me preach this all the way through and through. New Year's resolutions are bullshit. 98% of people never follow through their New Year's resolutions. Don't do it. Start today. If you know you're supposed to be doing something better than what you're doing right now, why are you gonna wait till New Year's to do it? If you're smoking or doing dumb shit that you're gonna do better then, why not just start today? Does that make sense? Don't you wanna be a better person today? I'm just gonna be a piece of shit for the next 6 weeks and then I'll be a better person. What the fuck is that? Okay? Look, guys, if you wanna get shit done, do it now, okay? And here's the thing, guys. We have a community of 2,800 people. 100% of them invest in themselves. It costs money to invest in yourself. I will not invest in you unless you invest in yourself, okay? Once you're part of our community, you're part of our community forever. We'll never be able to pop. We want you committed. Because one way that I know that you'll be committed is if you're sitting someplace between comfortable and uncomfortable.